Brother, I'm going, running wild Hulk Hogan. If I like get some moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out of this chokehold. But it's no holds barred, middle fingers like I'm Stone Cold.
What is up, everybody? We're back. It's WeTooDeep and DJWAVYD with another episode of the Slap and Meat Wrestling Podcast. Today we're talking the event known as SummerSlam. That was from this past Saturday. Before we get there, some housekeeping. As always, link in the description. Go get you some WWE merch. That new Roman Reigns OTC shirt is out. You know, I just ordered 5 shirts. Dirty Dom got one of his shirts, one of Otis's shirt. I don't even remember the other two.
Chase University.
Chase U, yeah, the black Chase U shirt.
You got an Otis, a Dom, a Chase U, a Roman,
and I can't remember the last one.
It wasn't CM Punk, was it?
No. I'm sure I can pull it up in the emails. Either way, use the link in the description. Go get your WWE merch. I would say go get that new Roman Reigns belt that just dropped, but they're sold out. They only made like 1,300 of them.
Yeah, for every Davis title reign.
Yep. So those are sold out already. Plus, if you had like $800 to spend on the belt, I would just say go put that somewhere else. But
go to the strip club maybe.
But also link in the description. Join the Discord. Join the conversation around that we have. You know, with me, Wavy D's in there, James and is in there always. You know, as much as he caps on his podcast, he caps in that Discord. So
yeah, he's quote unquote unbiased.
Right.
Get the merch.
Right. His merch is on that Discord. That link. The link to his podcast, the Beyond the Junkyard podcast, is in the description as well. With that, let's jump into this. We didn't do this last week because we had a special guest, and I didn't really want to put him on the spot, but we're gonna get cooking again. Last time we did this, we did 5 men and 5 women from AEW. This week, we're going to do 5 men and 5 women that are current TNA wrestlers. If we were starting new promotions, who would we pick? We'll start with the men. Wavy D, who would be, your first pick? If you had to choose, who would you pick?
All right. So, for my first pick for the men, I will go with... He has a name amongst the indie guys. Indie guys love him. Casuals might not know him yet, but he's one of the more popular names on the TNA roster. He's one of their best wrestlers, probably hands down their number one wrestler, probably a top 10 talent in the world. I'm going with Josh Alexander.
Okay. I like Alexander. I'll be honest with you though, he's not on my list. He's 6th place. Like if I had to do a top 10, he would be on it. But my 5th guy actually beat him out. You're gonna be like, bro, you didn't put Josh Alexander on, but you put the rest of these guys. Number 1 to me has to be obvious. It has to be Joe Hendry. I feel like if you're starting a promotion, why would you not put what may be definitely among like what you would call like independent wrestlers, the biggest name, but like he might be like the 3rd biggest name in wrestling right now, behind Cody and Roman.
So he's definitely on my list. He made my top 5, but I still need to know that he's not a flash in the pan. All right, because his in-ring wrestling is nothing to write home about. Like, can he wrestle? Yeah. Is he a good hand? Yeah. He knows what he's doing. But I need to know that you're not more than just an entrance and some music.
Right. I feel that, but I feel like at this current spot, if I'm building a roster, Joe Hendry's one of the first people I'm calling to get signed. Who's your second? If you had the
So my second, is Josh Gresham. Jonathan Gresham.
Jonathan,
but
okay.
but before the mask. So we're dropping we're dropping the mask. We're dropping the octopus gimmick, mask, and we're going Josh Gresham. He great wrestler. He gives me, for you casual fans, he gives me Chad Gable vibes. You know what I'm saying? Even more muscular, a short, muscular, stocky man who can wrestle the best of them, grapple the best of them. He can still do the crazy spots and stunts that you like, while also being a very technical, savvy wrestler. So I'm going Jonathan Gresham.
Not a bad pick. I'm putting on this list Mike Bayley, Speedball Mike Bayley.
X Division champion.
I've only seen 2 of his matches, and both of them have completely tore the house down. It was the one he won the title with just recently at Slammiversary against Mustafa Ali, and then his match against Will Ospreay at the beginning of the year, or end of last year. Bound for Glory last year, I think, is when it was. But yeah, he's the the guy that I would put in who could run my mid card, be a workhorse. I can give a mid card title to him and just have him wrestle every single week, defending that thing, and know that he's going to put on a good match. So I don't know if he excels past that. I don't see like world championship in his picture, but he's that little flippy guy that the hardcore fans would pay money to go see. Who's next for you?
So it's interesting. Originally, this wrestler was number 1 on my list, and then as I went through TNA's roster and saw some more names, he worked his way down number 3, and I went even further down the list, and he worked his way off of my list. I wanted to give a quick honorable mention to Moose. Moose did not make my list.
Okay, so we'll stop there real quick. So you have Josh Alexander. That same thing happened with me because I completely forgot about Moose. Moose beat out Josh Alexander. So Moose would be my next guy on the list. But so we basically just swapped the 2.
Yeah. And so the guy that replaced Moose in my eyes, so it might be a little bit of an out there pick, but I mean it was not really out there because the guy who technically replaced him as far as number 3 is Joe Hendry. I'm taking Joe Hendry at number 3.
Okay.
The guy that replaced Moose is technically number 5, but Joe Hendry is my number 3 pick. So Josh Alexander, Jonathan Gresham, and Joe Hendry.
Right. So I have Hendry, Mike Bayley, Moose. So who's number 4 for you?
Oh, all right. Now, I was assigned between 2 guys. All right. One of them, so they're both well-known names as far as more of the diehard fans. Well, one of them is Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder. Big following. He has WWE knowledge. He worked his way in the Indies, became the Indie God. He's in TNA now. He knows his way around social media, but he did not make my list. Sadly, the person who beat him out was another person who had a very small stint in WWE, very small stint that a lot of people don't know about. But I'm going with Frankie Kazarian, even though he is on the tail end of his career. He can still wrestle the best of them. He has a name that older wrestling fans will know about. If you were a fan of wrestling in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, into the 2010s, Frankie Kazarian was one of those guys on TNA, like prime TNA that you loved. With him, AJ, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian was that guy. And I need a mentor in the locker room. Not everybody can be prime time main event players. I need a guy to lead the locker room. And as far as I know, throughout Frankie Kazarian's career, he's been a locker room leader, somebody who who has been unselfish in his career, and he can work with anybody. He can work with talents of all different styles and sizes. So I'm going Frankie Kazarian at number 4.
Okay. So my number 4, I was looking more towards looking for someone with a little bit of I can see a lot of potential. Most casual fans won't recognize him, but he has a hardcore following a little bit for like the IWC. That's Hammerstone. This dude has like Brock Lesnar. I don't know if he's exactly Brock Lesnar, but he has that look. He's bulky, and I think there's that potential. He's younger, so that's the reason why he would beat someone like a Kazarian, or like I was even thinking like Eddie Edwards, because I like Eddie Edwards and the Wolves was one of my favorite teams for from the Indies, but I'm looking for like potential, and that's what Hammerstone screams out to me. So who's your last male talent that you put on your side?
All right. So I'm cheating a little bit, and I'm taking a tag team. Because you know me, I love my tag team wrestling,
He likes that 2-for-1 special.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You got, more value for your buck. And so, when I'm looking at my roster, I got my main event talents and Josh Alexander and Jonathan Gresham / Joe Hendry. And then, take one of those guys, drop him to the mid card versus Frankie Kazarian. And now I got the start of my tag team division with the ABC, Ace and Bay Club. All right. Yeah. So I'm taking those guys. It was tossed up between them and the Rascals, but I'm going with ABC, more wide known amongst hardcore fans. See, my picture is to blend the hardcore and the casuals.
Right.
So I'm kind of trying to do Tony Khan's job of better. So right. I'm trying to take that, the spot fest, hardcore wrestling, the really good, just to watch wrestling. And I'm trying to, make it digestible for fans who are more of the casual mindset. And, I'm trying to bring that WWE flair to some of these lesser known names.
Right. Yeah, it's a good pick. I was considering a tag team. But there's one guy on the roster, and this is going to be where everyone's like, how did he make the list? There's one guy. He has that WWE experience. While it may not have been the best run, I still think it's valuable experience. He's uber athletic. And I think he can fill in a lower card, mid card type status just to fill in some entertaining segments. And that's AJ Francis. Formerly known as Top Dollar.
No one hotter
than Top Dollar. I think he fits when I look at building a roster and building a show. If I could put AJ Francis on the poster, even if it's just for some random concert type segment where maybe he tries to do like a little rap against some person who comes out and beats his ass and that's it, and that's what his spot is on the card. Like that was basically what he was on WWE anyway. And so I think that he fits a certain niche within wrestling, a certain type of fans that would if WWE sort of went in and allowed him to do like the rap stuff he did on his own, like his social media stuff, I think he would have been a much bigger presence and a lot more people would have cared about him. But for some reason they wouldn't air any of that social media stuff that he made. So I think AJ Francis would he's going to round out my men's roster.
Now see, Deep, you're missing out on that 2-for-1 value. All right, if you're taking AJ Francis, you might as well take his partner in crime, Rich Homie Swann.
Rich Homie Swann?
Yeah, Rich Swann. You might as well take him.
I mean, he's decent. Yeah.
That's Top Dollar's wingman. That's his tag part. You know what I'm saying? That's his broski.
Yeah.
Does he also hold a title himself or some sort of title?
He did until Slammiversary. He lost to PCO. So PCO took the digital title off of him. So, which PCO, that's another thing. PCO's like 97 years old. He's been wrestling since like Ric Flair was wrestling. So
I don't know how his body keeps up with what he does.
Right. So we'll move on to the women's division. I feel both of us are going to have the same number one.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace. Without a doubt, if you look at this roster, she's the best thing on the roster. And it's like far in between before you get to the next, I would say, superstar type woman. So who's number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me, you know what I'm saying? I've been a fan. Okay, I'm not saying I've been a fan of her for a while, but I've known of her for a while. I was a fan of her in her younger days. She's a TNA lifer. I'm taking Rosemary. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves, well, not everybody, but a considerable chunk of the fan base loves like that kind of creepy stuff, and she has a history of doing that creepy stuff. If I'm not mistaken, isn't she part of like a group or a tag team called Decay?
Decay, yeah, with Havoc, I think is her partner's name.
Yeah, but I don't want Havoc though. I was trying to show a little bit of knowledge,
right?
But yeah, I don't want Havoc. But Havoc had a interesting run in her initial TNA debut.
Yeah, because
TNA was trying desperately to find a new Awesome Kong.
Yeah,
type figure because Awesome Kong was out, like I think she was either pregnant or injured or something. Shout to what's that YouTube channel? I can't think. It starts with M. But anyways, with the hawk sound, hawk. You know, Wrestle fans will know if you watch YouTube. But shout out to Havoc. But I'm taking just Rosemary by herself.
Okay. So I'm not 100% certain if she's a TNA lifer. I know she's like an indie lifer. She had a little bit of a stint in NXT for like what felt like a month. I'm putting Allison Kay on my roster. She's got a little bit of a veteran. I could put her in like that Natalia role, or I give her like 1 or 2 weeks of like winning, somewhat of a winning streak, and then have her sort of put over some of my younger talent. She's not.
I guess TNA has to update their roster. She's not on their roster page.
Really?
You said Allison?
Yeah, Allison Kay. I didn't look off of their official roster on their website. I looked off of SmackDown Hotel, which I have a problem of doing that. And with companies like AEW and TNA, they put everyone who shows up on the show on there. So that's where I got my roster from. If he's not on there, oh well, I get to make the rules. So
yeah, you keep her.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. This list definitely has a couple more people on here. the SmackDown Hotel.
Yeah.
A lot of same names, but definitely some different ones. With my third pick, I am taking. Oh yeah, see, look at it. They got Wesley on the TNA.
Yeah.
for SmackDown Hotel. They got Wesley up here. But anyways, I'm taking Zaya Brookside.
Okay.
If I correct me if I'm wrong, but she has some NXT experience.
She did.
And then they went to AEW right after that.
No, so she was in original NXT, and then when they made UK, she ran out in UK, and then when they closed it, she started doing like Progress Wrestling and stuff like that. I don't think she's ever been on maybe 1 or 2 like episodes and like a dark match or whatever for AEW, but then she went to her dad's still a trainer in WWE, so gotcha. I have a feeling when they start NXT Europe, if they start it back up again, that they'll sign her.
Urge. Well, yeah, I'm taking Zaya Brookside.
Fantastic talent, by the way. Yeah, I met her before she signed with WWE. I met her at a indie event here. And yeah, very good when she first started out. I was gonna take her. I considered her I don't know if that is a name an American audience would get behind, because the European crowd would get behind her all day long. Number 3 for me in that same sort of age bracket though is Dani Luna. She's I'm not taking her tag team. I don't like Jody Threat. We don't need her. She just doesn't have the look for me. She looks like one of the crackheads I can find on the corner. But Dani Luna, she's like 24 years old. She has a lot of potential. And so I'll add her as number 3 for me. Who's number 4 on your list?
I can't find her, but when I was watching episode TNA last year, maybe she's not on the roster anymore. She felt like a Sasha Banks kind of wannabe, Sasha Banks clone. Mickey James was champion, or she had beat Mickey James or something like that sometime last year, and she was like, Sasha Banks was like from Wish or Temu.
Now I'm trying to think of. So I'm assuming she's like lighter skin.
Yeah, she kind of had like that boss kind of like hood persona a little bit. Not like hood, but like
right. Is it Tasha Steelz?
Was Tasha Steelz ever a women's champion?
So she was champion.
Yeah, she won one of the women's championships.
Let me do it. She was former Knockouts world champion. Yeah, let me see. Let me show you a picture of her.
Well, I have the picture of the girl you mentioned, but but I don't know if her gimmick changed. She's not quite what I remember from when she won the title. I was watching a random episode or two, and there was like 5 girls in the ring because they were all trying to get a shot at Mickey or the girl who just beat her. And it was around the time when all the TNA knockouts were returning, and they had like almost like a Survivor Series matchup. It was like the older TNA girls versus the newer ones. It was like Awesome Kong and like Gail Kim and like Velvet or whatever, and they're all facing like a group of the younger generation of knockout girls. It happened sometime last year, I think, or a year before. But I'll research that off pod. But I guess just by namesake, even though I'm not the craziest about her, I'll take Ash by Elegance.
Okay.
Dana Brooke. But I'm gonna revert her name if I can get the rights to it to Dana Brooke. And I'm dropping her manager.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So my number 4 is one that if you follow like PWI and their ratings, she's consistently like top 15 in the world for women's wrestlers. I've only seen like 2 or 3 matches from her. I do like some of her stuff, and that's Masha Slamovic.
Okay.
I don't think she's I don't think she has a look that's memorable, but I think her in-ring stuff is fantastic. But yeah, I think we're definitely, if I was running it, I would definitely have to change the way she looked or looks in the ring, because some of her gimmicks don't really work out. Who's your last one on your list?
Last one on my list is Alicia Edwards.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? She knows how to kind of like be like a escort valet manager while also getting down and dirty in the ring. I was saying I'm not the most familiar with the TNA women's roster, but or TNA Knockouts roster, but I'm gonna use Alicia Edwards, so maybe down the line get Eddie Edwards, you know what I'm saying,
right,
onto my show. So we're gonna kind of use her as a.
I feel that. Let me see. So my last one is Savannah Evans. And this is completely biased, 100%, because she used to work at the local indie show, and I've met her like 40 times. And I feel like she's a very good heel character, and yeah, so I'd pick Savannah Evans. I wish that TNA used her more because she is really, really, really good. But the problem with some of these lesser known names is they run the indie scene, and so they don't really, that's how they make their money. It's better for them to run 3 shows a weekend than sitting on and running a feud with TNA.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that would be where I went there. I've been trying to search who you've been talking about.
I think it might have been Tasha Steelz.
Tasha Steelz.
Okay, yeah. And now I'm looking at more pictures of her in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I think the episode I caught actually. Oh, actually, I have the picture of the episode I caught. Mickie James and Tasha Steelz return to Impact Wrestling at Impact 1000. It was the Impact 1000 episode that I caught.
Okay.
And Tasha Steelz made a return.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I thought when you said like Sasha Banks wannabe. That's sort of the only person I could think of. But with that, the next time we're together, we're going to be doing NXT. Same thing, but for NXT.
Oh, that's easy.
That's easy. And then at the week after that, main roster WWE, which is easy. I don't know. Those women might be tough for you because you got a lot of women to figure out because we know how
women. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
There's gonna be one on his women's list that I already know on that main roster that I'm gonna just have to tell him to get the hell out of here with.
I'm all about that marketing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? With my women's roster, we're gonna be very marketable.
Marketable.
Okay? Yeah, keyword.
All right, so let's jump into the meat of the show, and that is SummerSlam. Before we jump in on each segment, what would your overall rating of the show be?
SummerSlam was an easy 9.7 out of 10. The only thing keeping it from being perfect was Roman Reigns' new music. All right, I don't fuck with that version of the music. I like his original music. All right, no need to change it. People say his old one sounded like very villainy. It's like, no, it didn't. It sounded like he was like a godly king. Okay,
right.
And like, I don't know, because I remember it sounds similar to Roman's WrestleMania 40 music when they had the live band. Right. But it was like the live band, but like digitized.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I really hope that like Death Rebel doesn't mess with Roman Reigns' music because his music was freaking perfect.
Now the next time he comes in, they're gonna have the producer tag on it. Acknowledge me.
Oh, I swear, if that happens,
well, we gonna fight. We gonna fight Death Rebel. So here's my thing. Everyone knows that I'm like the toughest grader here. And if you don't know that, go back and check the casual wrestling stream from last Thursday when we rated Liv Morgan. And everyone was like judging her nicely, and I was harsh as hell.
yo, she could sell with the best of them.
I mean, you're not lying, but
half the game.
Yeah. I don't know if I can give this the 9 or 10 that a lot of the casual fans are giving this. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It was definitely really good. But to me, there's no such thing as a 10 out of 10. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no such thing as a 10 out of 10 because you could always do better. And so you'll never get a 10 out of 10 out of me. And if you do, I'm lying because you could always do better. And so I'm gonna give it an 8. There were a couple things for me that I didn't like. And we'll go into each of those as before we do the matches though. Let's talk about some of the extracurricular segments we got. So the first one being we had a little Jelly Roll concert. Wasn't necessarily bad. I know there was a lot of people, like I know in the Discord, Mike was shitting on it.
I like that they got out the way early.
Right. So I do. I agree. I like that they got this out of the way early. They made it sort of feel like it was part of the intro to the show.
Yep.
With the way they had the video. Like I said in the CWC Discord, Jelly Roll is not for everyone, and he's not a singer. But what happened with the music industry, for people who don't understand the industry, is it's whatever sells, and so he's auto-tuned to shit. If you've listened to his actual music, he's auto-tuned to shit. But again, if you don't know the industry, you still have to know how to sing to use auto-tune. It's not like a fix for it. If you can't hit a note, auto-tune's not going to save that.
I forget the word for it, but a lot of the top musicians or the artists that are coming out lately, especially in the country genre, are artists who don't look like country artists.
Right. And
there's a word for it though. I forget the word. It's like it fits Jelly Roll, Shabuzi, whatever his name is.
Shabuzi,
all those
Post Malone.
Yeah.
So first off,
there's a word, I forget it though.
While we're on this topic, country music apparently is become like the trend for 2024. Now I like it as a country music fan because it means it's more popular. And Post Malone's stuff is great. Jelly Roll is good. Shabuzi's okay. Beyonce's music, everyone was shitting on Beyonce's country album. I actually like it.
I only heard like 2 songs. I didn't rush to listen to it yet. Right.
But yeah, it's just a trend. It's gonna die away. But Jelly Roll was known for his rapping, and then when he signed his contract, the record label gets to tell you what to do, and this is where this sort of fits in. He can sing. He's not the best. He obviously needs auto-tune, but you also got to realize he's probably touring, 2/3 of the year, and so he gets very little vocal rest. And I don't think people recognize it. I mean, that's it. That's literally his moneymaker, and so it's not going to sound good every single day. I'm just glad they kept Pat's mic completely off. But so that was not the only extracurricular we had with Jelly Roll. This dude came out here and has the best fucking choke slam in the game right now.
Yes. Yo, that man is about to earn himself a DLC on 2K, all right? He about to get that residuals.
Right.
Like, that man's choke slam, he has the best choke slam I've seen since early 2000s Kane.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that was him who lifted him up.
No, that's also Theory.
Or if Theory got a complete jump. Like, he jumped it. Like, you can tell it. But that Theory sold for him. And
that's that boy.
Right. Theory's that boy.
Quick note on Theory. Theory is working himself into that spot to be like that Miz guy. Right. Where he's gonna be like a WB lifer. He might win a world title or two when the stars align. Right. He's gonna find himself in spot after spot after spot of being, like a big pay-per-view, like doing the guest stuff. Nerdy D was saying that about someone else, but Austin Theory is that guy.
Right. I mean, Theory, if you look at what he's already done, like he's been U.S. champion, he's been Money in the Bank. He's had a match with Cena at WrestleMania. Like, and there's not much more you could do to say you're like he's accomplished already, even though
celebrity interactions.
Right. And then the greatest segment of these extracurriculars is that Manscaped commercial with my man Otis, and all these people were like, "Oh, that's disturbing." Now this was cinema. Bro, this had to be one of my favorite ad spaces. A lot of the times these are like corny because they're like Snickers commercials or whatever. Now, what people don't realize is I wonder if any of these people have ever seen Manscaped commercials before. This is how they've always marketed themselves.
Yeah, that's their
they're literally marketing ball trimmers.
Yes,
and like ball deodorant. Like, and now they've gotten into like the head trimmers and what Corbin and them were using, but the company literally started as a way to groom your private parts.
Yes,
and yeah, this was a perfect use for Otis to put him on here. Maxine does these segments fantastic. Tozawa's fucking great. He's going into that R-Truth role.
Yeah,
and he can play it well. There's a lot of people who hated on this segment, but this might be like segment of the night for me.
Yeah.
It was your good comic relief in between matches to sort of get you ready for the next match.
Is this ad of the year so far?
Oh, absolutely.
No, say I don't. The only ad I could put up against it that might be the L.A. Knight and Bianca Belair Slim Jim commercial,
Right.
but I think Otis might have ad of the year.
Mm. You know, a lot of people like James didn't like this because it took away from the wrestling, but you got to get your ad money. You got to get that revenue.
Ad money. People will stay and got to go pee and like get snacks.
Right. And while we're on that, there's I guess like someone had no life and took the time to count
It was like
how
72,
much
74.
It was like 52% of the show of the runtime was what they would call wait time in between matches. That's a standard for any, like, y'all don't understand how to run a show. Like, you got to give your in-crowd fans time to go to the merch stands or the concession stands or use the bathroom. That's how you run a oh, well, we paid for no, you pay for an experience. You paid for SummerSlam. You paid for the whole experience. And so, you know, if you want 11 matches back to back, sure, you can go to Wembley and watch that. But I don't know. I feel like it's problem with it. They always like to say, well, we're two different types of shows, and they complain about how WWE runs. Well, you're two different types of shows. This is different. They don't. I don't know. It bothers me when people,
they wonder why people complain about the AEW merch stands.
Right.
Say it was like MJF's return or the week after MJF return. There was no MJF merch at the tables. There was no Sasha Banks merch. It was all generic, like the match card T-shirts.
It was like the I Was There shirts.
And the AEW shirts. A couple of All Elite shirts. They had one wrestler shirt. I forgot who it was, but it was none of the big guys either. It was like some mid-carder.
Yeah, then they had their belts that they charged like $800 for.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You run 11 matches with no pee break, no concession break, no merch break.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got to get your merch either before the show, and this table shut down during the second to last match.
Right. So with all of that, let's jump in. We'll start with Rhea versus Liv. Perfect match to start the night. And you start this, you have we're not going to go as in depth. I read a thread today on X that sort of broke down the entrances and how Rhea was sort of like playing into her arm still being in, or her shoulder still being injured, which I don't look at these things this way. Again, people have way too much time on their hands to go back and watch and look for all this stuff. But you get Rhea out there. She comes out with Dom. Liv comes out there. Really good match. And, of course, we get Liv retaining. And the turn of Dominic where he chooses Liv. He does exactly what we thought was going to happen. And my man chose Liv Morgan. What were your thoughts on this, the whole match, everything?
So I ended up liking the match. I think that I thought that the match started off a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
It started off slow. You know, I get the cat and mouse games. That was enjoyable. But then I really thought Rhea got hurt. And then I was like, dang, this match kind of just shit the bed because first we got no action, followed by a injury. But, I guess it was part of the match or whatever, which I don't know if she was like flexing a certain way, but her shoulder really looked popped. Like, I don't know if she just knew how to flex it to make it look weird, but I thought she really dislocated it. She popped it back in. The first time it was really cool. She did like a second time, which wasn't like as cool, but the first time she did it, that shit was awesome. The match ended up being really good. Liv Morgan, like I say, she sells her ass off. You know what I'm saying? More ways than one, but you know what I'm saying. She sells her ass off. Rhea does a really good job at making smaller talent look good because Rhea is also a good seller. The match was going good. The one part that made Rhea look a little bit dumb is when she got the chair initially.
Right.
And, Dom pulled it from her, said you're told disqualified, yada, yada, yada. But that also in return made Dom look a little dumb because if he was planning on turning on Rhea and having Liv walk out the championship, why not let Rhea just disqualify herself unless you want to see your new boo get hit in the face with a chair? But she's about to lose her chance at a title. But at that point we're still meant to believe that Dom is on Rhea's side or whatever. And then we go into the match where he's further down into the finish where he slides a chair in a little too far, like he did with Liv and Becky. Saying a callback to that stuff. And then the cameraman caught it. Dom had a little smirk on his face as Liv won the match. So I was like, I thought that was kind of just gonna be it. I was like, okay, there we go. Here's our Easter egg for Monday for the big blow up.
Right.
They said, fuck the Easter egg. Here is the blow up.
Right.
And then these dudes, Dom and Liv, share a passionate kiss. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for Dom's Dom's wife.
Right.
That kiss looked a little too good. And the first kiss they had.
Right. They were swapping tongue this time.
Yeah.
And
the first kiss wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? You can tell he kissed her like that kind of thing.
Right.
This one, they was all in that junk. And I was like, damn. But
should have been me.
Should have been me. Good. It was good. Very good though.
Yeah. I liked it. It was a great way to start everything. And yeah, I think now that you've mentioned her, like you mentioned it on Thursday, and now every time I watch Liv Morgan, I try to find her selling, and she's one of the top ones in the roster right now. I like that this continues the feud, definitely to at least Bad Blood, and so we'll get a few more of these matches. It's going to be a little bit more of a different type of Rhea Ripley, which I like. She could still be sort of like the baby face while still being aggressive. But while we're here talking about my man Dom, I'm gonna need y'all to put some respect on him. He's the victim in this situation here, right? Finn. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Finn's the victim here. I'm gonna need y'all to stop taking Damian Priest's side here, because the dude got a little power hungry, and that's what happens when you get a little bit egotistical. Your people turn on you.
No.
But we'll talk about that down the line when we get down to Damian's match. Let's go to Bron versus Sami.
3 minutes too long.
Shit, this was too long. No matter, this was like 15 minutes too long. This thing, this is where I dock points. I'm gonna go on record. I'm tired of this idea that Triple H puts into the universe that Sami Zayn has to be respected and can't lose in 30 seconds. Braun Breaker should have heard the bell and speared the shit out of him like 4 times and then won the title and then called it a night.
We should have got the Bronson Reed treatment at SummerSlam. What Bronson did to Seth Rollins last night?
Right.
We should have got that with Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn at SummerSlam.
Right. And I understand this idea, like maybe they want to, Sammy's given a lot for the company, so they want to respect. Cool. But would it not make a lot more sense if Braun Breaker beat the living shit out of him and then he just sort of goes away and maybe goes on like a losing streak and then he gets recruited back into the bloodline and that's how he gets his mojo and his moxie back. He starts feeling ooshy again. That would make more sense than to have him get some offense in. And I personally feel like it hurts Braun Breaker because you're trying to build him as this Goldberg style badass, but the dude takes defense more than he's on offense.
Well, I do feel like Braun won handily enough, but it should have been more of a squash. Zayn got a few moves in it, but that match was mostly dominated by Braun, and it ended pretty fast. It was like, bell to bell, maybe like 8 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It should have been shorter, but it's not like it wasn't like their Money in the Bank match where Sami got was surviving for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just felt like this should have been Bell, Spear, maybe 2 or 3 spears, and then in the match. I just feel like that would have made Braun Breaker look a little bit more of the badass that they want him to be.
I mean, you also had the Steiner brothers up in the suite. I mean,
Right.
they should really trying to give them a little bit more of their money's worth to see their kid. You know what I'm saying?
And
Shining on a big stage.
They showed that you had Steiner up there, and I was like, who the hell sit? Oh, that's right, Braun's dating Izzy Dame now. Izzy up there in the Legends booth. That's the only time she ever gonna be in the Legends suite. But yeah, Braun, my man Bron, he a lucky one. Though I don't know if I would have moved on from Cora, but he moved on. And he went to Izzy, so I kind of get it.
NXT is just Love Island, but
Bro.
wrestling.
Were you the ones that shared the
The new
people who were
recruits?
trying the recruits that where is Shawn Michaels finding these women?
and then I'm all about equality, so I did look at the men's recruits.
The men, right?
And there was like 3 of them that like initially I was like, that man looked like a star.
Yeah.
There was one that had that Brock Lesnar build.
Yeah.
I think he played football. I forget which college or what his name was, but that man had that Lesnar build, and I was like, watch out for him.
Evander Holyfield's son was one of them.
Yep, he was another guy who had that look.
Yeah, he's gonna make it. He played for the Eagles. If you didn't know that.
Yep.
And then so I know Katana Chance's boyfriend was one of them.
Yes.
And I think he's already a pro wrestler or been training, so I'm sure he'll get in.
Shout out to Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He dates Kalani Jordan.
Yeah.
You guys, their TikToks are hilarious together.
Yeah. NXT's just Love Island, and everyone comes in and signs this contract and finds love. So,
Tiffany Stratton and Ludwig.
Right.
Does Trick Williams have any confirmed girls over in the wrestling world?
Not that I know of, but I think he has like a non-wrestling girlfriend. I believe. But that's a whole different thing. That's a whole thing. We'll talk about Love Island on Friday when I discuss the AEW Love Island that's going on over there.
Next week's Just Get Cooking. We do a power ranking of wrestling couples.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Let's move on. Match 3. That was Logan in LA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Logan in LA Knight. We all knew this was going to happen. We knew Logan was losing the belt. I'm a little bit upset at it because I'm just not an LA Knight fan, but this is I look at it from a different perspective. This gives Carmelo and Andrade and in the mid card a chance to be on SmackDown, and this benefits SmackDown a hell of a lot more. And so I want LA Knight to come in there, maybe not week 1, but I want at least 1 or 2 a month where he does like open challenges. Like he should bring back that John Cena open challenge, and just maybe every week, every other week. I think this would also be a good way to bring up some of the other talent on NXT that maybe you're just waiting to be called up. Someone like Nathan Fraser or like an Aura Mensa type character. I think that would be cool. To debut him to the main roster. But this man, Logan Paul, this dude was built for this. And we say this every time he's in a match. He's built for this industry. Some of these moves that he does just blow my mind.
The springboard, turnaround moonsault.
Yeah. And then this man right here, I don't give two hells about your cowboy Adam Page. This man, Logan Paul, has the best buckshot lariat I've ever seen.
Yeah, best buckshot lariat in the game right now.
I don't care about no Adam Page. You can get the hell out of here with that guy.
MGK and Logan's cronies did a nice little job.
MGK, yeah.
I like how Logan Paul beat their ass a little bit.
Yeah,
got a little bit.
You know, and
I'm looking at the SmackDown roster real fast
because
I looked at it earlier this week when I was in one of Nerdy D's live shows and we were talking about kind of like who's next to face Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, outside of like the face-to-face matchups against like Kevin Owens or like a Randy turn, but we got Randy versus Gunther, which we'll talk about later. But there's not really any top tier talent that's like main event ready on SmackDown. I mean, you got Lashley and Shinsuke, but they haven't been on TV in forever.
Right.
You can like AJ hasn't been on TV. He's been doing like Japan stuff, but Cody already beat him twice. Get people like Waller and Theory.
I don't know where they go with this. I would imagine maybe Logan Paul tries to get another chance for like the Saudi show, but we still got 3 months before then.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling. I don't know if this was in Nerdy D stream or in the Discord that I saw. I think Ryder said this. I don't think Cody's going to Germany. I think that's all going to be focused on mostly like a Raw show.
Okay.
Especially since a lot of the SmackDown stars just did the world tour in Japan.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to do a lot of this tour in Europe. The 2 or 3 weeks before Berlin is going to be a lot of just the Raw guys.
Do you think we get Damian and Finn as early as Berlin? Or do you think they push that to Bad Blood? Or maybe get no contest and then
I think maybe we get. I was gonna say Damian and McDonough, but we just got that on Raw. I don't know if they could.
Which was a really good match too.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll redo that unless they just want to sort of cave it in and just tell us that this thing is only for Gunther.
Yeah, because I'm thinking you got Gunther versus
Randy.
Versus Randy. Do we get Punk versus Seth? Or no, sorry, Punk versus Drew, or we push that to Bad Blood maybe.
I think that has to be pushed to Bad Blood. I think that would overshadow Gunther, to be honest with you.
I do think you can maybe. I know you think Seth is going to be out until like Mania season. I can see Seth wrestling at either this or wrestling at
I mean, I could see him coming back. The way you write him off like that, I just don't see him recovering real. I think he takes 6 months off.
We gotta look at other pairings for the card, though. I mean, I know it's a little early out. We still got a few weeks, but I mean, we only got 2 more Raws before the pay-per-view,
right?
PLE or whatever. I mean, I guess after we finish the SummerSlam card, maybe we do a kind of an early prediction what we think for Bash.
Yeah, we can work at that. Let's move in Nia versus Bayley, and this match was good. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it was great. Of course, we get the Tiffy tease of the cash-in. This was another moment that just I have to grade down on. I understand where you're going to come for in response to this, where you want to tease Tiffy and Nia and you want to have that whole storyline. But there is no well-defined reason to me at all why any major pro company would leave SummerSlam with Nia Jax as your women's champion. She doesn't draw anything. And so...
Well, to be fair, what has Bayley really drawn since winning it?
Right, and so that's why you have to leave it with Tiffany Stratton. There's no reason why you don't leave SummerSlam with Tiffany Stratton not champion.
Well, I think the reason for it is because so you have more viable faces to face Nia than you do viable heels to face Bayley on SmackDown right now.
Right, but
So
if Tiffy was the champion, you could still put the faces against her.
I think maybe you run back Nia Bayley, you could run Nia Naomi, and then over the course of these two matches, you have kind of Tiffany, being more and more eager to cash in because on SummerSlam, her cash in distraction was planned between her and Nia. That was a plan,
right? But
distraction.
Tiffy's never been one from NXT, at least her NXT character, which nothing's really changed since her call up. She's always been about herself. There was an easy way to do this. You have her run down exactly the way it happened, where Bayley pushes her off the ropes, and as soon as that happens, Nia literally beats the shit out of Bayley, and she does her move off the middle rope, does it twice on her, and Bayley's essentially out of the match. That's it. And so I would have then, as that happened, had Tiffany come in and knock out from behind Nia Jax, hit her in the back, or hit her in the back of the head from behind with the briefcase, and then Bayley's already out. Nia, she's out. You hit the moonsault on Bayley and you pin Bayley, and you sort of let Nia do all of the work for you. That's how I would have booked it to happen. I'm sorry, Nia Jax just doesn't. She best run of her career, but she doesn't scream champion to me.
I think the way to kind of describe why Tiffany hasn't cashed in yet is because if you look back at Tiffany's NXT run, her NXT career, there was no one down there who was kind of like the size and intimidation of Nia Jax. I think you kind of say that at this current point, Tiffany kind of wants to keep Nia in her and be in her good graces, her favor, because maybe Tiffany is, first of all, doesn't want to be attacked by Nia because she's, the big bully on the playground. But also, if Nia loses her championship on her own and Tiffany were to cash in, maybe Tiffany will want to keep Nia as, her muscle, her backup, and, extend her run as champion. And so I think that she's going to try to keep Nia as buddy until Nia ultimately bullies her.
I don't like that. I don't like that story because we just ran it with Chad Gable and Otis, and I feel like
not quite.
It's the only thing different is there's a Money in the Bank involved and a world title involved.
Well, with Otis and Gable, it started as both of them being faces. With Nia and Tiffany, it started as both of them being heels, and one of them is just too much of a heel that forces Tiffany to be face.
Yeah, but the current, before the Wyatt Six got here, the current story we were at was two heels, or with Gable and Otis.
No, they were both faces.
Nah, they were heels.
No, the Alpha Academy was definitely faces. With the two of them, Tozawa and Maxine, they were definitely faces.
I would say Gable was more of a tweener, because Gable started turning on Otis. But it's the same. But my point is that Triple H seems to like to do copy and paste on a lot of these stories on different brands, and he likes to rerun things. And I get it. If it works, don't fix it. But this whole storyline of like having Tiffy get bullied by Nia, it's no different than what Gable did to. Because you're gonna get the big pop for. I also don't like an idea of a face Tiffany Stratton, because if we go back to, she was interviewed on what the inspiration for her character was, and she goes in and she says it's based off of Sharpay from High School Musical.
Yeah,
which she's the one everyone hates in that show.
But she's also likable, though.
She's not likable, bro. Sharpay was not likable.
No, Sharpay was a face in High School Musical 2. If you go back and look at High School Musical 2, Sharpay was trying to offer Troy Bolton a future while Vanessa was kind of holding him back. Sharpay was like, hey, my dad's like an agent with the NBA. Do you want to go do a run with the players and get, kind of get your name out there? And Troy was like, yeah. While Vanessa was like, hey, you left us in the kitchen to do all the cooking and cleaning at this summer job. You should stay with us. She didn't want to see him succeed. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds a lot like Rhea and Liv, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, if you look at Tiffany, I don't think it's more of her being a face, but I think it's people liking her heel work more, her liking her character. So, like, you know, when Tiffany, quote unquote, turns on Nia, I don't see Tiffany being buddy with Bayley or buddy with Naomi. I still see her being the same character, but, you know, the crowd just likes her at that point. You know what I'm saying? Two heels can hate each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree with that. I don't like the optics of leaving SummerSlam with Nia Jax as your champion. I think that really just bugs me. I understand that there may be a story, and it may turn out to be a really good story between Nia and Tiffany. I just think you have, you know, a much more marketable person that you could put on posters and put on advertisements with the belt. That ultimately, I also believe, and maybe it's just because I booked the whole Charlotte thing and I was looking forward to that, but I mean, it's still going to happen. I think at times Triple H waits too late to strike when he should have.
Speaking of marketable, like you said, what's more marketable than Tiffany with her customized briefcase?
That thing looks like that's not even custom. But someone spent $50 to paint that thing pink.
I'm just saying, action figures, replicas. The action figures is going to sell of Tiffany with the briefcase. I don't think it's as bad as y'all remember it was. I think it was just the lighting. Tiffany Stratton briefcase. I don't think it was that bad.
I don't know. Maybe I don't like the idea of Nia being champion. That's really what this boils down to.
It looks nice.
This feels like, I'm be honest with you, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This feels like old Dwayne up there and Titan Towers saying, "Look, man, we gotta give Nia at least one. Gotta look out for the family." And so I didn't like the way it ended.
I'm just saying the briefcase looked nice. You know,
I mean, it's not bad, and it was a good look. I like the strap on it; it fits her character. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest thing.
You know what I'm saying? We just gotta see her stunt around with it for a few weeks. It'll grow on you. But also, we gotta look at Nia as a transitional champion. All right, you know, say because we got a little bit of dead time to kill before we get into Mania season. You know what I'm saying? So I think you put Tiffany over at what, War Games maybe? And War Games is after Crown Jewel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bash. You let Nia do Bash at Berlin and a rematch against Bayley. Maybe do Crown Jewel against Naomi, and then you get Tiffany going over at the Big Four. Survivor Series, and then she holds up the championship throughout the winter, throughout the rest of the fall, going into the winter. And then you get a returning Charlotte at Royal Rumble. And, you get Charlotte versus Tiffany at Mania.
I hear what you're saying. I think having Tiffany win it at SummerSlam and building like a slow, like 6-month story for her and Charlotte, I think it keeps more eyes on the product during the slow season than because there hasn't been anything going on in that division. I don't know. I feel like you need someone like Tiffany out there as your champion. We'll move forward though. Next was Punk and Drew, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Punk Drew with old Beetlejuice as the special guest referee.
His outfit wasn't the worst.
It wasn't bad. I expected a hell of a lot worse. What's your thoughts on this?
The match is really good. I like how they paid homage to what was it, 97 or 92? What SummerSlam was that? 97? the triple
I
threat.
think so.
I mean, not
I
triple
think
threat.
so,
The special referee match.
Yeah.
Between Taker and Brett. Taker
and
Brett
Brett
with
and Sean.
Michaels is.
Yeah, and Sean was.
They paid homage to that. The match was good. Seth let them beat each other up outside the ring or whatever. But when it came to using weapons, he drew the line there. Cool. That way they didn't get too much shenanigans. Even though, well, because we had shenanigans, but at least it didn't add another level of shenanigans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know, Nerdy D, and I think you hate the bracelet.
So I
love the bracelet.
I don't. So here's the thing. I don't hate the story. I actually understand.
Yeah.
I just don't like the prop. I also don't like that this is 100% a ripoff from AEW. And I know it's hard to be original, but AEW literally just ran this story with Copeland and Malachi Black over Edge's wedding ring. And
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, that was the match that Edge broke his leg. That was what he was fighting for.
Oh,
that was the last time I watched AEW. So, but I don't hate that. I was going to mention that I don't hate the whole significance behind the bracelet. I just don't like the prop. But I will say that I don't hate it as much as Nerdy D does. Nerdy D absolutely despises it. I understand it. I put in the CWC Discord. It's sort of the same type of story as like why John Wick would go after the guys who killed his dog.
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense. And like no rational human being goes on a murder spree because someone kills their dog, unless you put that type of significance or to that, right? And while I don't think CM Punk considers Larry his child, I think it's like I don't know about you, but if someone came in and tried to hurt my dog, I'd be a little upset.
Facts.
And it's the significance not of the bracelet itself, but what the bracelet represents, which is family.
True.
And so, I completely understand the reaction. Everyone's like, "Oh, CM Punk's a bitch for how." No, I completely understand this reaction because if you threaten my family, I'm gonna act the same way. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna see the red light. I'm gonna try to attack you to defend what I believe in, and so. I completely understand, but it's also telling the story of what's cost Drew over the last 6 months. His anger at CM Punk. Well, what cost CM Punk? His anger at Drew McIntyre. It's complete storytelling. This is cinema in the making.
And so Seth didn't get as involved as we hoped that he wouldn't have. So that was a plus. And Seth didn't screw Punk. Punk screwed Punk.
Punk screwed Punk. Yep. Which I think also plays into because they sort of teased, the Michaels Undertaker with Michaels. That ended up being the Montreal Screwjob match that came out of that. So I could see at a Survivor Series, like if Seth is going to come back, I could see Punk versus Seth at Survivor Series, or Drew versus Seth at Survivor Series.
Okay.
If Seth isn't long term out, I don't think we see him again to at least Rumble, but I could see a Survivor Series return. I think that this was one of the better matches. I think a lot of people, especially more casual fans, aren't going to like this as much because of the bracelet, but the way we just explained it, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Shout out to Homegirl who made the bracelet. Now wants money for it. More of a negative shout out. I think that's stupid. It's like you want a conversation, but it's like you gave it to homie as a gift, and now
So I'm gonna come to her defense here. She posted that tweet as a joke. I don't think she only had like 30 followers when she made that tweet. And she did not. So this comes into my problem with Ringside News is the one that made this bigger than it should have been. Nowhere in her tweet did she say she wanted compensation. She tagged Slim Jim. I was like, what can I get for being a part of this moment? Completely joking. And then Ringside News made it bigger than it had to be. Now she has like close to 1 million followers. And look, when someone told me a fan made the bracelet, I expected like a 12-year-old, not a full grown 25-year-old girl on the internet. Like,
I'm glad you cleared it up because that reminded me of the person who did Randy Orton's tattoos. I don't know if you heard
that
that
was
story.
stupid because they tried to like sue him because it was in the video games or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, video games, all their stuff. They're like, my art is like, yeah. It's like I don't think like if the person paid you for the tattoo, all right, you got your compensation, all right. Just because that person is famous or became famous and has like your tattoos on them doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? It's cool you get like a shout out and they tag you on Instagram or whatever, try to get a little bit more business, but you're not entitled to nothing after I give you that paycheck or after I pay for that tattoo.
Right. I think there's also a lot of the reasons why, like 2K, I know in basketball they took out tattoos for a while.
Yeah, for a long time.
Because I think something similar like this happened in the NBA. Yes, Punk Drew was a really, really solid match. We're finally gonna. I think it happens at Bad Blood. I think it has to happen at Bad Blood. The Punk versus Drew. By themselves, I could even imagine this being in like a steel cage or some sort of like a Hell in a Cell type thing. Yeah, that's what I want it to be. So let's talk about Damian Priest and our ring general Gunther. Gunther gets the win after Finn Balor completely demolishes the Judgment Day, or so we think, until the next night when we get a clarification of who the new Judgment Day is.
Yeah, I kind of figured that part.
Yeah. I figured we were getting new one. Like, so on that conversation, Triple H is running factions like New Japan does. You get rid of one leader, but someone else steps in. You don't. So, the bloodline's never going to end. They're just going to get 100 new members. Anyone that's Samoan or has some Samoan. That's why I've always been claiming for this, and I said this when it was first starting, before Bronson Reed got released, that he should have been in because he's part Samoan. He should have been this in the bloodline. This was before Solo joined as like the enforcer. I thought that Bronson Reed should have been the enforcer.
Nia Jax should have been the enforcer.
Why they haven't included Nia Jax in this, I have no idea. But it would be great if now that she's champion that they do.
But back when the women's tag titles were slightly important, because I heard Tamina or her Naomi.
Right. But yeah, Gunther wins. I know a lot of people thought that maybe he would win it in Germany. I'm 100% glad they gave it to him now, because this makes Germany all about Gunther. And what's your thoughts on this match?
I liked the match a lot. Hard hitting. Gunther was bleeding from the chest. Everybody in the chat was going crazy, and then I felt like I would have had a crazier reaction if it didn't
just happen, right?
Yeah, because blood and guts had happened, but this one was more natural. I don't know if you watched that Jericho match at Blood and Guts. Was that
Ishii he fought against?
Yeah,
or
the pit bull, the bulldog, fucking 50-year-old Japanese guy. The old motherfucker. The old bald one who has like the shorts waist high.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I've seen that match.
That shit was terrible, and everyone was going crazy about it. I was like, it was literally just chop, chop, chop. Like there was like maybe like 2 minutes of grappling on the outside. Everything was chops. It was like 20 minutes. That shit was terrible. But this match was good. It happened more naturally. And Gunther Damian just went at it. Finn Balor coming out. I thought again it was gonna be more of an accidental thing. He full on just said fuck it.
Right.
Fuck you.
Well, I knew at the beginning when they did like the backstage like clubhouse segment where he was like, "Hey, if you need me, just let me know." I knew exactly that he was coming out.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the turn from him at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I expected it to be like he's trying to hit Gunther and he accidentally like super kicks Damian and that costs the title or whatever. But the full turn, look, we're building this thing. I think we got Damian versus Finn coming up down the line. I think it's about a year too late, but I'm down for it. It gives Damian something to do. It gives Finn something to do. I'm a little bit concerned now that they gave Judgment Day the titles back, the tag titles again, where that goes. But let's talk about. We got the new faction. You got Dom, Liv, McMillan Head. Bro, they did my dude JD wrong last night. Pat and Cole were
dogging him.
They were dogging him all night long. And then you got Carlito, which I think a lot of people were, not sure where Carlito. I kind of figured he would just stay with the group.
I thought he was good. I thought it was be more of no man's land, but I like days.
I would have liked it. I would have liked it better if it was sort of like him having that choose sides, and they could run that as a story.
And then if you look back at it, though, both Damian and Rhea didn't fuck with Carlito anyways.
Right.
So there was
that comes full circle around to my man Finn, my man Dom. They're victims here because these motherfuckers, Rhea and Damian, they were tyrants. They didn't care about these motherfuckers. They, you could see like for the last year and a half that it was their way or no way, and their ego started to grow. So you had to say bye bye. I'm surprised. I'm not a big fan of now that they're out of it that they're still teaming together. I think Rhea needs to go do her own thing.
I like it for the time being, especially after the immediate fallout.
I mean, we're gonna get the at least like a month or two of it. That's fine, but
I definitely want that mixed tag team match or some variants of it, whether it be Rhea and Damian versus Liv and Dom, or if it's Rhea and Jay versus Liv and Dom, might be more entertaining, especially after that initial love triangle. But now that Dom doesn't fuck with Rhea, you don't really need Jay anymore, unless Jay comes to her defense.
Nah, I think Jay is completely out of it now. I think that was just a little bit of like a misdirection to sort of maybe there's something going on here. Triple H likes to go like 4 different ways to try to confuse us. But let's talk about this main event. Cody versus Solo. The match itself, can we just be honest? It kind of sucked. But
I like that it was a faster worked match than Cody Roman. You know what I'm saying? Because we all knew that we were getting shenanigans at some point,
right?
Of some sorts.
So
I like that we had an actual match beforehand was good.
So the problem that I had with it is that Cody Rhodes takes 30 minutes to walk from his bus to the damn ring.
I liked it.
I liked that part. That was the best part of the whole thing.
Oh.
So he walks the entire thing. He stops and says hello. We see Arn Anderson. We get Pharaoh, which they got 2 poppable moments there. And then he spends all this time here. Arn tells them, I got contacts. And to even the odds, you bring out Randy and Kevin, which I feel like it should have been something different. That just didn't do it for me. And then you get Roman, which I think everyone expected to happen, except for me. But I also want to say my predictions when I do these fantasy bookings, it's not necessarily what I expect WWE to do. I like to do my predictions based on what I would do. And so they basically did what I would do. They just did it at SummerSlam and not Bad Blood. Having Roman come out, his music's playing. He walks down the ring. He Superman punches and spears Solo, and then he stares down Cody, gives him the nod like, hey, I helped you, but it's not about you. This is family business. That's what I took out of that. I completely forgot about Jacob being a part of the bloodline until he showed up. Because I was like, okay, so we got Tama and and the other Tongan, he's out. Who's coming next to sort of require Roman to come out here? And then Jacob comes out. He does the splash. He sells the hell out of that knee injury. And then we get Roman's music. You announced it, the change. I didn't recognize it at first. It sounded like The Rock's music to me. And so I thought it was The Rock. And I was like, what the fuck? But it was Roman. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm pissed off that Roman showed up 2 months before I wanted him to. No, Roman Reigns is back. SmackDown's about to be the greatest show on TV again.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I don't know how you fit all this shit in 2 hours, though.
Do you think we get Paul Heyman too tomorrow? Do you think maybe we get like a Paul Heyman, like he does like, ladies and gentlemen, like before he comes out of the gorilla, and then he introduces Roman, maybe? Or do you think Roman introduces Paul?
I think Paul comes out and does all the talking for him. I hope that we at least get Jimmy back though, because Roman's going to need some backup here because he's kind of highly outnumbered right now. And I don't see like Randy and Kevin coming to his aid because they kind of fought to end him. So I think what we might get is sort of Roman having to go through what Jay went through when he left the bloodline. The heel bloodline became babyface, of having to earn some of these people's respect. And I think that's when he gets someone like Jimmy back. And Jay, I think we'll have to do a crossover at some point for Roman to recruit Jay. Because isn't Roman technically a free agent?
Yeah, Roman's free agent.
And so he can work both shows. Hell, they don't even give a fuck about that because fucking Randy showed up on Raw.
No, they explained it. You guys don't be listening. They explained it for Randy explained it, and then even for Austin and for Theory and Waller, Michael Cole explained it on commentary.
I mean, they may have explained it. It still don't make no sense.
It do. Everybody's in the same city or the same area because SummerSlam just happened. Say the SmackDown boys don't got to get the show until Friday.
That would make sense if SmackDown wasn't completely on the other side of the country this week. Because
SmackDown's not till Friday. We're on Monday.
But the boys still got to travel.
Where's the show last night? In Detroit or whatever?
The show last night was in Baltimore. Show on Fridays in Oklahoma.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Monday to Friday is what I'm saying. It's not like it's like a Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday. These guys.
I don't know about you. If I'm on the SmackDown roster, I'm leaving Cleveland as soon as I possibly can to get to Tulsa so I could settle in and not have to be rushed because we got storms coming in on the East Coast and you don't why you hanging around? I don't. The thing with me is if we're gonna do a draft, we got to keep the roster separate. And this whole we're gonna do a talent swap for a night, that's just a cop out to me.
No, it was built off of previous events. Randy said that
Randy makes sense, but Theory and them being there,
Theory and Waller wanted their get back for the Jelly Roll and Miz and R-Truth beating them up at SummerSlam. They wanted their get back, so they got Nick Aldis to reach out to Adam Pearce, and the general managers agreed and let Theory and Waller have a match on Raw. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Theory and Waller are such crazy draws that Nick Aldis doesn't want to let them on other shows. You know what I'm saying? He figures, we'll get our guys in that match over there. Hopefully they win. And you know what I'm saying? And as far as the GM thinks, if we can beat your former tag team champions, our former tag team champions, our tag team might be better. Our tag team division might be better if we're beating you on your own show.
I mean, I feel it, but I don't know about you, but if we were running these shows and you asked for if your talent could be on my show, the answer is no. There's no benefit for me to put a SmackDown. If I'm running Raw, I want to showcase Raw talent. Why am I putting SmackDown talent. Like I don't get Randy. Let me be honest with you. How you gonna pull tape from fucking 3 months ago and be like, no man, Randy, your time to complain about that was 3 months ago, not 3 months in the past when, and this is, I'm be honest.
Even Triple H said it at the press conference. They respect referees' decisions. Yeah. He said some other stuff, and that foreshadowed Randy against Gunther after.
Allow me to be salty because they're taking away what should have been the greatest match of the year in Gunther and Dragunov to give me fucking Randy and Gunther again. Some boring ass fucking main event.
Well, all I'm saying is the reason you're not getting Dragunov is because the last time he was in a televised match, he was getting his ass handed to him by Bron Breakker.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Triple H, and I'm gonna do this again on Friday. Triple H sometimes likes to take this non-creative, easy way out of this shit, and instead of giving me 3-4 weeks of strong Monday night storytelling to push Dragunov to up the card like he did with Bronson Reed, it only takes a week to get him over. Instead of doing that, you're going to give me Randy Orton again.
No, Bronson and Seth is more of a blood feud now. Whereas you're telling me it's like AEW giving Kyle Fletcher a match against Swerve Strickland for the world title. It's like you got Dragunov who lost to your IC champion before he was IC champion, and now he's going to skip the line and face the world champion.
If Dragunov comes out while Ludwig, because there's history there. While Ludwig is introducing Gunther and Dragunov comes out and permanently puts Kaiser on the shelf, then he can come out and say, well, since your partner can't do it, I want you. You could build a story. Triple H just needs to get creative. You got 3-4 weeks to build a story as to why Dragunov deserves to be in a match against Gunther. But he's going to take the easy way out.
I'm just saying, you got to remember, WWE, saying that the fans aren't as, as knowledgeable as you. You know what I'm saying? They didn't see the gems that you saw on UK TV.
You ain't even got to use the NXT UK. You can build 3 weeks of storyline to give a reason as to why Dragunov should be in this match.
I'm gonna say, so if you're booking, right, like, saying, what does the random 12, 13-year-old know about Dragunov besides the fact that he looks fucking uber aggressive? But he lost his last few matches.
If WWE did their job right when they drafted him, they would have showed his domination in NXT. But no, they put him in the mid card where he's losing every week. At some point, we gotta question, and this is what I said a few Fridays ago. Same thing I said last week or yesterday in the Discord with Lyra. Send them back down to Chef Michaels, because Chef Michaels knows how to cook. There's just not enough room for some of these call-ups.
That's because Lyra wasn't getting over without Becky. Okay, she got a couple wins in the Queen. She got a couple wins. She got a couple wins in the Queen of the Ring tournament. Right. But she wasn't getting over without Becky.
That's again at some point, that's not Lyra's fault. That's Triple H's fault. No, Triple H needs to book her in situation, and instead of just completely dropping her to the bottom of the women's division, tag teaming with jobbers and being infused with jobbers, like
maybe she'll walk like she has stick up her butt. She get over a little more. I don't know. She's a petite woman but walks around as if she got shoulders like Bobby Lashley. But you know what I'm saying? Like why she walk like this? Like all hunched over like this and shit.
I'm not gonna let you do my girl Lyra like that.
That's how she walk. And then she got like, I don't know, got some fucking feathers on her. Trying to take the Ric Flair woo during entrance. Woo!
She's a fucking bird, dude. She's a raven. That's her character.
Well, what the fuck is she a raven? See, exactly. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? If I didn't watch NXT,
Michael, no. Michael Cole explained this last night. She's a representation of the Norse god of victory, which is depicted as a raven.
I thought he was just bullshit because they're in Baltimore.
No, that's
the Baltimore
legit.
Ravens.
That's legit. The reason. That's legit. Her character is she's playing like the Scottish Norse.
Well,
god.
I know Valkyrie, like Valkyrie. I know that's some bird shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Not no Ravens.
Yeah, no, Michael Cole wasn't bullshitting last night. He was telling the truth. So now we're done with SummerSlam. You brought up a good thing we could do here. Let's sort of early book quickly. What you look for Bash at Berlin. Obviously, we know we're getting Randy, Gunther. What else would you? I'm expecting a 5-match card. So what other 4 matches would you put?
I think Cody and Kevin Owens.
Okay.
I think because there's nobody on the card who's main title already on SmackDown who hasn't been on TV for like the last month.
Okay.
Everybody who's been on TV isn't booked in that spot unless you run some little tournament or something or qualifying matches. But you only got 3 weeks to book this. You got 3 Fridays to book this. So I'm thinking maybe Kevin returns. Cody's like, hey, now we kind of have like that bloodline thing, but behind us. Kevin's like, hey, Cody, helped you keep that title. Why don't you let me get a chance to fight for that title?
So I'm a have a strong opinion here. I don't think Cody defends at Bash at Berlin.
Very, very possible, yeah.
I don't think there's a Cody match. So what's another match you would put on? Fill out the rest of the card. 3 more matches.
I think Drew and Punk is too big for this. I think that's gonna be for Bad Blood.
Mm-hmm.
I think you run back Nia and Bayley.
Okay.
Maybe before you get to the 2 of them having their rematches again, maybe you run the Judgment Day enter the mixed match for Judgment Day. Maybe a tag team match of some sort of DIY rematch against the Tonga Boys.
Okay.
LA Knight versus Escobar, maybe.
Okay.
Or no, Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
Andrade. Well, I know Escobar has been trying to get himself in the picture of LA Knight, saying they've been having their thing. Mm-hmm. But Andrade and Carmelo have been having like a series of stuff going on. So I guess Escobar, LA Knight.
Okay. So obviously we know we got Gunther, Randy. I'm going. Let's see the U.S. title. I think it's a fatal 4-way though. I think
we'll get 4 guys I mentioned.
Yeah, the 4 guys you got. I think they put off 4 of them out there, give us somewhat of a low key banger. Either one of them leaving with the title is fine. I think LA Knight probably retains.
Yeah.
And then I think Bron, because Bron and Sami is next Monday, right?
Yeah, they have the rematch on Monday.
I think something's going to happen there. Whether
Bron Ilya?
Probably. Bron versus Ilya will probably be the match. Unless Ricochet comes back.
True.
Because I can see Ricochet coming out and causing like a no DQ next Monday.
Or post match beatdown,
or like a post match beatdown.
That way you don't carry on the Bron and Sami any further.
Right. And so Bron versus. So let's say that happens. So Bron versus Ricochet.
But I don't want to see Ricochet lose that feud. That was the whole point of him coming back, and so he could beat Bron. But now
so what if
the title?
Right. I don't think Bron's holding the title very long. I think this is just a way for him to get like 2 or 3 defenses. And then they can say, hey, look, Bron Breaker's a mid-card champion. Now let's move him up to where he should be. Okay. I think he's winning Royal Rumble. So I mean, he defends at Bash at Berlin. Maybe he skips Bad Blood unless maybe that's where Ricochet can beat him at Bad Blood. Because that is kind of a blood feud. That could be like a street fight.
Yeah.
An Atlanta street fight. So
Or ambulance match.
or an ambulance match. So let's finish this. I think we're only going to get one of the women's, and I do think it's going to be Nia Bayley. I think they replay that, or they run like Nia versus Naomi, or some sort of variation of that.
Women's tag.
Yeah, I think they run a women's tag because they're European champions. I'm assuming Jade and Bianca.
Stud line damage control.
It wouldn't surprise me if they ran that on something like Berlin, which is going to be built for Gunther. Now, with that feud, I have a feeling Dakota Kai getting attacked last night is sort of a way to sort of try to get her out of this. I think Julia's going to be the next member.
Okay.
I think they're just going to skip her in NXT with Stephanie down there. And so I think Julia comes in. She just did some sort of photo shoot like right before she left. I guess she's on her way to America now. She did like a photo shoot with Japan's version of Playboy, and then now she's on her way to America.
I gotta check it out.
But yeah, I could see a damage control. Team where the casuals are calling the stud line. It's not the official. It should be the official name. Mia Yim's trying to get it the official name.
Yeah, I see a lot of people try to call it the foreheads, but I think it's stupid.
Look, I don't like them, but we ain't gotta do that.
It's good. I think it's because that's what Mr. Tesh calls them. He calls them the foreheads in his stream. Stud line.
Yeah, it's a great name. I don't know if they'll do it though because of how close to the bloodline it sounds. But
the Scissor Sisters.
I could even see Crumpets and Gravy. Your little
Crumpets and Gravy.
Crumpets and Gravy. I think we could even see them versus like Shayna and Zoe.
Okay.
We could get something like that. But it's gonna be 5 matches, and we'll get 2 or 3 of the lower card are just gonna be like matches that probably shouldn't be on PLEs, but they don't want to overshine Gunther. I don't think. And so, yeah. We're 3 weeks out. Triple H shouldn't mess this one up, but
I would like if Triple H threw a 6 one in there. The 5 is just sometimes a little too short. That I would like that 6 match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it don't gotta be a long one. Just give me a 6 match in there, so like we have like a definite halfway point. It's like the first 3, the second 3.
Right.
I feel that.
I feel that. Let's go in. We don't got questions from Discord this week. Which is fine. So we'll end this with Thirsty Tuesday. We're beginning round number 2 for the men's tournament this week. Let me pull up the 4 matchups that we're gonna run. If I can find them, because I got the beta update for Apple when they changed the photo app. All right. So we just saw this man turn on Damian. We got Finn Balor against AEW's Daniel Garcia, who may be coming to WWE here soon. Who would you pick there?
Oh, how did Ricochet lose against Daniel Garcia? Yo?
Don't ask me. That's the Discord vote, my dude.
Wait. What did you vote on that?
On the Discord vote?
No. What did you vote?
I picked Ricochet.
No, because we don't vote in Discord. We vote here. Right. So technically, it would be 3-3, Ricochet versus Daniel Garcia.
Look, I gotta go the vote on Discord there. I don't know, man.
Daniel. I thought if we agreed, the overrules the Discord vote.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I made these graphics, I didn't even pay attention to what we voted. So I just gave it to. We got to give AEW some wins here.
Fine. You said Daniel Garcia over Finn Balor. I'll take Daniel Garcia.
You're taking Garcia over Balor?
Yeah, Finn Balor. He not like.
Nah,
yeah.
Dude. I'm taking Finn. Here. Number 2, Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul.
Wait, how did Waller beat Theory? Yo, the Discord got no taste this week. No taste this week. You said Logan versus Cody?
Yeah.
I guess I'll go Logan.
Yeah. I gotta go Logan.
If it was Cody with the brown hair, that's a different story.
Yeah. I don't know, that neck tattoo kind of ruins it too. Matchup 3, Trick Williams versus CM Punk.
Oh, Trick Williams.
Yeah, Trick Willie. And then matchup number 4, Drew McIntyre versus MJF.
Oh, this one's a lot closer than you might think, WeTooDeep. This one's a lot closer.
The battles of CM Punk's last 2 greatest feuds.
Oh, true. Because I know. Oh, first of all, this Discord got no taste. I'm looking. They picked Juice Robinson over Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Kara, you're not doing a good job out here, Kara.
Right.
Her and B-Master voted for Juice Robinson. James voted for Finn Balor. MJF versus Drew McIntyre. I gotta go MJF. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Drew, I think put it this way. I think MJF is more people's types than Drew is. Even though I think the people who like Drew would go crazier for a Drew McIntyre type. I think more people overall like an MJF type.
Yeah, I can see that. I gotta go Drew though.
Quantity over quality.
Right. But I'm going Drew. I don't know what it is about MJF. He's just wouldn't be the type of person that I would pick if I was of the female persuasion.
I see him as like lacrosse frat boy. You know what I'm saying?
That may be what it'd be. I'm not the biggest fan of frat boys, to be honest with you.
I mean, me neither. You know what I'm saying? I like sorority girls though.
Yeah, 2 different things. But that's that. We'll end this episode here with that. Don't forget Friday. We're gonna have a long show Friday. We got a lot of things to talk about on Friday. Just to give a sort of preview, it's called The Tale of Two Companies. Over the last month, as Triple H has been building towards his second biggest event of the year in SummerSlam, and AEW's building to arguably their biggest event of the year, which is Wembley. There's an obvious winner, and who's been doing a better job at that.
Wembley.
But also, just there's a lot of drama coming out of that AEW locker room. We're going to talk about some of that. We'll talk a little bit more of my personal opinions about this SummerSlam, and some other news, and some breaking down some of the other segments we didn't talk about from Raw. And then I'm going to review Great American Bash. I didn't talk about NXT last week, but I will. I'll do both weeks combined. So it's going to be a longer episode. And then I'm going to give, I mentioned this last week. I gave my top 10 NXT combined, like men and women. And I told you guys I would do a top 5 for each category. So to end the show on Friday, we're going to do a top 5 men, top 5 women, and top 5 tag team in NXT.
Ooh. Remember, you're gonna have a lot of time to space out your content because I will unfortunately not be here for the next 2 weeks.
Ooh, you're right. We may have to break that up though over the next 2 weeks. Then,
yeah, DJ, I got a new job, and I'm in training right now. So the manager had scheduled me in the future for the next 2 weeks on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'll be unavailable for the next 2 weeks. But right. I did talk to her. I was like, hey, can I move either Tuesday or Friday to another day? I'm saying preferably Tuesdays. That way I can, do my podcast. She was like, oh, you got a podcast? I was like, yeah, type shit. She was like, oh, where is she? She's like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'll try best to work around to move you around a little bit. So I got to work out these 2 weeks that are scheduled. And after that, I should be back and ready to roll.
All right. So like he said, tune in Friday. We're still going to do 2 episodes a week. It's just going to be solo for the next 2 weeks, though. And then, probably the end of August. I think like last week of August.
Yeah, last week of August, yeah.
Which works perfectly as we get to do our Bash at Berlin predictions.
Yes.
With me.
I will send you in my NXT top 5 of who I would start promotion with. I'll send those into you via Discord, and you can just compare your list.
Okay. Not a problem with that. That's planning right here. But until then, he'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll see you guys on Friday. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
Hasta luego.
Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If I like get some moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars trying to kick out on this jaw cord. But it's no